What's going on, people? I figured I'll do airbrushing a crankbait. Why not? I think this is a 1.5 crankbait off Amazon. You can see how it's kind of brown and yellow, even after wiping it down. Essentially, I just tape up the lip, and then I'll go over the whole thing with alcohol if I have to sand it or anything to get some humps out of it, but I'm not even doing that. I just wipe it down with alcohol, and then I plan on shooting, I guess, a little glide bait here. It's like 2 inches. So nothing crazy. Should be a fairly easy build, but anyway, um, I'm not gonna go into great detail of how I mix everything, but I'm just gonna show you how I'll mix like my opaque white. So I'm gonna hit these with white first. So I'm gonna put 2 drops of this homemade flow improver here. I'm not gonna get into how I homemade it in this video, but if you guys want one, I'll do one later on. So I got Createx Wicked Opaque White. So I'm gonna do 15 or 20 drops of this. We're going to do 20. So I got 20 drops of the white. I'm going to put 2 drops of my homemade retarder. So the retarder essentially keeps the paint from drying, slows it down so you don't get as much tip dry. So I'm going to mix this up with a toothpick. So eventually what I found is you want the consistency to kind of be like milk. Depends on what you're shooting. So like say you're painting on paper, you probably want a 1-to-1 ratio of reducer and paint. You want it really thin so you can shoot lower pressures, especially doing we call it smaller details. But anyway, so now that I got that, I'm going to put about 1/4%, so 25% Createx 40/30, which is a balancing clear. I like to use it because it seems to give you a much smoother finish. So I'll be honest, I probably haven't painted in a month. I haven't done any lures in a while. Oops, that was more. It ain't gonna hurt. So I'll mix this up, and then I'll add my reducer uh, in order to thin it out to where I need. But I'll probably do, since I did 20 drops of white, I might do 10 drops of the reducer. I mean, if you stick, eventually you learn, like, say I'm using Createx white, but if I switch to golden white, it's a different ratio. Depends on the consistency. So I'll use 4011 reducer. So after I mix it with the reducer, I'll let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes in order for it to all blend together. I'll come back, stir it one more time, and then what we'll do is I got my air pressure set around 30 psi, and we're just going to do that and spray these a couple coats of white on both of them. All right, people, we're back. So anyway, I'm gonna have to turn this fan on. It's gonna get really loud. I switched the camera over to the other side. It makes more sense because I shoot right-handed. I mean, I can shoot left, but I choose not to. We'll mix this up, and then we'll put a couple coats on these. I don't know if you can see the consistency or not. It goes up on the edge, but it doesn't stay. Kind of like in a cup. It looks like milk, even with the white color. So I got stuck on there. So I always put my cap on because I get to some weird angles, but you always want to make sure that your tip is clear so has a venturi of air going through it. So I'm gonna isolate the vocals so you probably won't hear the fan or the spraying. The spray a little bit. That's it. It's a little thin because of that flow improver in the end. So your first coat you want it really light, but you don't want it to run. And after I get the first little coat on it, let it dry for a minute or two. So these have a smoother finish on it, so it's real easy to put too much paint on it. You can't really see. This fade has a lot of nooks and crannies in it, especially with that jointed section. So just change the angle that you spray on. After you get a coat or two on there, you can really lay it down. But essentially, I never release it. This is a dual action airbrush, so this just purges air, and when you pull back is when it sprays. So I always try to hold this, because if you don't, say you spray and then you let off like that, as soon as you go to hit the button, it's going to put some drops out on there generally. Sorry, a little shaky on my second coffee and haven't eaten yet, so still early in the morning. Since I can't sleep in anymore, might as well do something. What some might consider constructive. Little piece of plastic in there from casting, I guess. So I'm not too worried about putting too many coats on that, because I am going to come back. We're going to do a simple pattern. I'm going to hit the top half for whatever section I want with black, and then we'll use the color shift over top of it, and then I'll hit the bottom with a white pearl. So you spray white pearl on a straight bait, it's going to take a lot of coats to get it to be solid or opaque. So do yourself a favor and spray that coat down. But you see it come out pretty smooth so far. So we still have plenty of paint. Try to use as much of it as I can so I don't waste it, but that happens too. So these jointed sections, you get some gaps in there that don't quite fill. Hit this with one more coat, and then we should be good. Clean this out, put some black in it, and we'll come back. So I got this filled up with some opaque black, mixed it all in. Looks like it's got a little bit of a blow by past the needle. So that means the paint's just flowing out past the needle even when you're not hitting it. This is at 30 CSI, so it's not really meant to doodle too much. But so I'm going to try to stay above this lateral line here, and I'm going to darken the around the eye sockets as well. So just come in and hit the top. So I like to spray down so it fades in. So around the eyes and the nose, I'll darken up. But for the sake of this video, I'm not going to shoot the other one because I don't want this to be like a 30-minute video. And I was going to do one with the scale pattern, but right now I'm basically just trying to figure out how I'm even going to set this camera up so you can see. I'm going to do a couple cuts of this. Going down the gill plate a little bit. So yeah, that's essentially what we have there. And then I'll come in and hit it with the pearl white and go upwards and blend those two together more. Checking side to side, it looks like that one goes down a little bit further. Got a decent blend on it. Clean this out and come back with the pearl white. Go back. This is a create that pearlized white. For some reason this bottle's pretty thick, so you got to mix it down, reduce it a little bit more in order to get the consistency you want. Got a nice little sparkle to it. So gonna come back in and go over the white, fade it up into where I was. You'll see because it'll look like kind of like a gray area. So the it's kind of what we want, especially up on the gills, lighten it up. If I got it a little dark, but I'll shoot up, that way it fades in. There we have the pearl white on it with the black. Yeah, it doesn't look like much now, but once we go over the top of the black, with the ship color, they look pretty amazing. I haven't decided on what to use yet. Should I make it simple or should I mix them up? People, go back. I decided that I do want to use a super shift, so I'm going to use the 8-bit baits, Vice City, HS621, and generally I'd probably mix this. I can mix it with the balancing clear, but I'm going to use UVLS. I'm going to use satin because I'm going to put a clear coat on it anyway. I do have the gloss. It's just really thick. I don't feel like messing with cutting that down on this video. So anyway, I'm going to squirt some in this container. Once I'll take the top off because I've never used this one. I don't need too much. So I did about 15. We'll just make it 20. And that's pretty runny, which is nice. The UVLS clear, like the gloss for some reason, is super thick. So you can see the color on that. I don't need much. It's just enough to change this up a little bit. Just give it a nice little sheen. So what we had, like 4 or 5 um, little toothpick points. So I do have a vortex mixer that I'm going to mix this on. But I'm going to add one more little scoop of this to it. And consistency looks like it's ready to spray for some reason. But anyway, we'll come back and then we'll spray this on. Should give it a nice orange shift to it. Might be some I don't know what other colors are in it really. So this is pretty thin in here. So I'm gonna hit it like 20 psi. I could spray over the pearl with it too. It ain't gonna hurt any. You probably won't see it as much. It's the black that really makes it pop. So you just see that change instantly. If it does have like a green to it, greenish yellow, gold. And I'll put a little bit on the white. That way you get the little orange specks in it. So you can see that does an amazing job, like right out the gate. Next time if I can get comfortable with filming this, I'll hit it with a scale pattern too, so you can see the difference. I basically just wanted to try this out, make a trial run, but that looks stunning. That is amazing looking. How simple it is to do it too. Even the pearl looks really good with it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, but once you get a clear coat or two, that'll really pop. Whoops, forgot. All right, well, we used all that. I'm gonna get that cleared out. Then we'll come back and go to the next step that I generally do. Hey guys, so I'm back after I done clear coated, put eyeballs on it. So this is the finished product. I think it looks absolutely amazing. What's that color shift? This is from 8-bit Baits, Vice City, 621. So holoshift HS. And I think it turned out pretty good. My only gripe is that the lip didn't quite clear coat the best I wanted around the edges, but I think that's because I didn't. Usually I take a Q-tip with some alcohol and I'll swab it and let it dry before I dip it. And even then I'll usually spray it. and clear coat it, but I didn't this time, so that's on me. So, but I do want to share that I have used borealis before in the past, which if you look under the cap, this is one of my favorite colors. It's got that blue, bluish green, and a little bit of purple in there. So you can use this in clear coats too. I thought about it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave this one the way it is. I didn't even put a shad dot on it. So, but I have used the borealis in the past. So when I made these little tiny crankbaits, little snap peas, you can see the shift on the top there into the green from blue and purple. I got it there. And the last one here. So to go over it, I started out with a wicket, well, it doesn't matter, but either way, it's Createx opaque white. I did the whole bait in that. And I came back and hit it with the wicket opaque black up on the top part. And then I mixed, or no, then I hit the bottom again up to the top with Createx pearlized white. And then I used this here, UVLS clear satin with the with the Vice City. And like I was saying in the video, you can also use the UVLS clear and gloss as well. I just didn't feel like breaking it open and mixing up because it is a lot thicker than the other one. So with that being said, I guess ain't really much more to say besides what I left out in the video was with the reason I used the 40-30 bounce and clear, not only because it makes a smoother finish, but it also helps it bond better to like the plastic. So it definitely makes a big difference I've seen. So anyway, I appreciate y'all checking out what I've been doing. And gonna probably make some more videos with some crankbaits or jerkbaits since it is jerkbait season. And since they're here, this is one of the last two that I did earlier in the year. Turned out pretty cool. It's like a midnight blue. First time I used that. And then one after that, I did this like trout. This is just iridescent, I guess green or agua, and then iridescent pink. And then I did iridescent yellow on the bottom. And then I dabbed all this with little dotting tool. Comes in handy. So, like I was saying again, thank you guys for really checking out my stuff and commenting and giving me feedback. I really do appreciate it. All right, hope you guys have a great start to your week, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.